Happy Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend. And right off the bat, I want to thank you all you doctors and spa owners, chiropractors, and dentists who have actually served. A lot of you I know as friends have actually served, and I want to say thank you for that. Maybe it was Desert Storm, maybe it was as far back as Vietnam, and if you're a lot older, could it even have been maybe Korea? I just got back from a couple of weeks in the mountains, but while there, I was in the Enchanted Circle, New Mexico area. There is a war museum, and it's centered around the Vietnam War, and it's the largest in the United States, built around '94. Always fascinating, and I went the week before this weekend where it's incredibly crowded. I just got back, and so we had it to ourselves to see who we were fighting, the Chinese, the Viet Cong, and all the different things, and see the outfits and how things have changed, and the sacrifices. I mean, really, really bad sacrifices. Like, I've been to Europe and seen the World War II museums in Germany, but boy, Vietnam was bad for America in a lot of ways and for those that served. And I'm sure Desert Storm was no fun either, as I was a young chiropractor practicing at the time. So I want to thank y'all for that. For Memorial Day, you certainly, I'm sure it left a lasting impression. And so while even there, we met a motorcycle rider and his family, all motorcycling. His name was Barry from Columbus, New Mexico. Him and his friend both served in Operation Desert Storm. And so we're eating at Michael's Kitchen. If you've ever been there, it's excellent in Taos. And got to know him well, standing in a line 30 minutes, with no mask. That was great. And just amazing, right? Just amazing, the stories. But at the end of the day, what are they doing? They bought our freedom that a lot of people around the world don't have. Now, I know a lot of us in the last year can say, yeah, but we kind of lost our freedom because we had this thing called the pandemic. Okay. Well, yeah, we did. Maybe it helped us. Maybe it saved some lives. Maybe it didn't. But I'll tell you what it did do. And what all this does, and the people who fought for our freedom, is it gives you a different perspective. It gives you a different perspective on your health. It gives you a different perspective on time, because we all kind of lost a year or more. And if you're still in practice or running a bricks and mortar business, now you probably notice now more than ever people are on Amazon, e-commerce, online. Zoom. Who ever heard of Zoom before? Just funny stuff like that. Funny to me because we'd always been doing it. But, my story was an accident. I loved chiropractic. I still love chiropractic. All that it stands for and all that we ever did. But it was taken away from me because when I was young, I'd powerlifted and I adjusted by hands. I never really got into the instrument thing as much. And great for many, don't get me wrong. I did it for 18 months, but to me, this was chiropractic. So with all that being said, even though I had other doctors doing adjusting for me at the end, I had 5 different actual pure chiropractic type clinics, one medical, one breast thermography, and then a med spa here in South Lake. I certainly wasn't free, right? I had good hours. I mean, I'd work 3 days a week basically, or 2.5 days. But I couldn't really be gone for 2 weeks, right? I could be gone a week if I had the good staff and everything, and that was with all the education and training. But I could never be gone 2 weeks. Over the last 15 and a half, 16 years, I've been gone 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2.5 months. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not working. I like working. But I can do it from anywhere. And I've been able to do it anywhere for a long time. But again, it was by accident because of my neck and my back and not being able to do it anymore without excruciating pain from 8 herniated discs. And I don't want surgery. Still haven't had surgery. That's a whole nother video. So what else could I do? All I had was a mouth. And I'd been in management a long time. So hence Catch Fire Coaching was born because of motivation, inspiration, and practice management with a lot of alternative marketing. I was one of the best at that particular company and the doctors at marketing. I'd always been aggressive at all types of marketing. So that's still what I do. I help doctors build, grow online things in marketing as well as offline to build. The whole goal is passive income. I say passive because I think self-storage is probably the only real passive one, but nothing's 100% passive. But more passive in the fact you can work from anywhere. You can do it on a phone call. You can do many different things. The whole goal is other revenue sources that while you're doing your chosen profession, that if your arm falls apart or your neck or your back or you get injured on a motorcycle or you served and things aren't working quite right or you lost all your stuff or a pandemic hit and just wiped you out and we're on government handouts, If all that happens, you have to have, I guess, your plan B and plan C. What are other alternatives other than a spouse who's working extra hard to make up your loss? While that's good for a while, that causes a lot of tension at home. It's not a lot of fun. How do I know? Because I lived it at the time. I was coaching and consulting for somebody else, a national firm, and then later on my own. But it didn't immediately replace high-powered doctor income at all. So I had to adjust. I had to rearrange, to sacrifice, to make it happen. I didn't have insurance. And matter of fact, until 6 months ago, I still never had insurance. More about my immune system and staying healthy. So I ask you, what are you willing to do and sacrifice to get true freedom? Some of you have already done it, whether you served or whether you've done it with your practices, or you have a practice, but you frankly could be going a month. Did you know the definition of a business is where you can be going a month or more, but at least a month, that's 30 days on average, and still make a profit continually, not have it dip, have it at least be flat or go up. That's pretty tough. Most of us have a high-paid job or a job. And if you have staff, it's even harder than that, isn't it? That's a whole nother ballpark, especially since the pandemic. So really what you are is you're an office manager and a trainer. And if you're lucky, you get to play doctor every now and then. I'm not trying to be cynical. It's just the truth. So, and if you grew up in chiropractic like I did with many chiropractors, you know that most chiropractors, certainly in the state of Texas, but made most of their money when you inflation adjusted 10, 15, 30, 20, 40 years ago. The bell curve has dropped. So you have to have other things because we're too smart not to. We're too educated not to. No one owes us a living, but you have to think differently and see things differently and have other opportunities you might not have ever thought of and that you can quickly implement because you don't have a lot of time or that someone can implement with you to get there, to change it, to slowly start getting there. Hey, yeah, it'd be great if you can find a great self-storage and you can go get the $5 million and you can put it in there, but that's really, really hard if you're competing with institutional money. So we're talking about other things. Doesn't have to be e-commerce, though it could be. Doesn't have to be Amazon as part of e-commerce, though it can be. All these things add up. And I have a plethora of things in Catch Fire coaching for you to be able to do that. But Memorial Day made me think of all this because it's about freedom and the sacrifices to get freedom. And if the pandemic and the wars have taught us anything is freedom's worth it. I choose freedom. Don't waste it. Take advantage of what's happened. Be different. You think of a tomato plant. Those things have to be shaken, not stirred, before they produce any fruit. Stir it, atoms and everything stay in one circle and don't really change. But if you shake it, like the pandemic shook our businesses, then a lot of people all of a sudden can produce fruit. You know why? Because you're thinking different, you're acting different, you're awake again versus not. Because too many of us work too hard and we don't have work-life balance either. Another video. But let us help you. 817-939-8435. Text me, call and leave a message. We'll set up a time to chat. I'll talk to you for up to 30 minutes. Maybe longer if it's a good conversation. And see if we're fit, but more importantly, see if I can help you at least the right direction where you're trying to go right now. Now, I've done this before when there's been hurricanes and tornadoes and things, and some of y'all have taken me up on it, and you've done some great things and had some things opened up to you, and you guys know who you are. But I think there's more of you who want to take that next step, whether it's injuries, age-related, pandemic, or family members. I recently had a friend that has cerebral palsy. I grew up with the man. He has a twin brother, and he is in a coma to go anytime. I lost my dad in October, Dr. George. I lost my uncle, Dr. Weldon Honeycutt, 2.5 weeks ago, and I had just seen him a few months before in Colorado. So life is fleeting. What are we going to do about it? Happy Memorial Day, guys. I hope to talk to you soon.